Hey, all of it all is it. Thank you so much for listening to the Men's Room Podcast.
And thanks to our pals at the Advocates Law Firm for being great partners. Yes, even you, creepy Kyle.
Seriously, though, if you'd been injured as a result of somebody else in your car, on your bike, walking across the street, talk to our friends at the Advocates Law Firm and let them help you out.
Yeah, they're the best injury lawyers around, and they want to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. Plus, your first consultation is free.
It's simple. You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Now for all TV news all the time for TV time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Sorry. I went out of order there. I usually like drink water, then you All right, your choices: Seth Meyers.
All right.
The Jimmys.
Fallon and Kimmel.
Trevor Noah.
All right.
Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It is right there in the title. All these guys have teams of talented writers helping come up with their monologues each and every night, and it's up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
Around the country, the big news is that gas prices are in fact getting out of control. But prices should slow down soon as long as everybody continues to post about it on Facebook.
Kimmel. Smith.
Yeah. Good job, everybody.
Look
Did anybody notice the gas prices are high?
I didn't, and luckily, thanks to social media, I found out.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell at the pump.
Yeah.
You drive a huge-ass truck.
The department store Kohl's no longer wants to be a department store and is turning itself into a lifestyle brand. But over at TJ Maxx, they're sticking with their business plan, half clothing store and half fight club.
Myers.
Fallon.
To be a department store,
Yeah.
and it's turning itself into a lifestyle brand. Meanwhile, TJ Maxx is sticking with their business plan, half clothing store, half fight club.
I gotta say, shout out to Kohl's. I grew up near a plaza. That Kohl's came in. Now, sure, we lost the Chesapeake Bay Seafood House. But that Kohl's came in, and I mean, we thought we had made it.
Right, it's a game changer, right?
It was, man. Beltway Plaza was on the come up.
Beltway.
Yeah, I live beside of Marshall's. They didn't have it.
Yeah, Marshall's and TJ Maxx, they sure. Where Kohl's is like, they used to be kind of the same. Somehow Kohl's has risen over them.
Kohl's to me is just kind of the original Target.
Basically.
Yeah. Nintendo announced it will postpone the release of a new war game in light of recent world news. And due to gas prices, the new Mario Kart.
Myers. Fallon.
Myers.
Nintendo announced that it will postpone the release of a new war game in light of recent world news, and due to gas prices, the new Mario Kart.
Disney announced Tom Hanks as Geppetto in the new live-action remake of Pinocchio. When Wilson the volleyball saw that, he was like, who the hell is he?
The Ted Smith.
Fallon.
That's Fallon.
And this is fun. Disney just gave a first look at Tom Hanks as Geppetto in the live-action remake of Pinocchio. Oh. Yeah. You know, Wilson the volleyball saw that puppet and was like, who the hell is he?
That word means nothing to me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not mad. I'm just over it, all right? Yeah. We don't even talk about volleyballs.
No. We look towards the future.
We're always competing. In a new interview, a Virginia couple claimed in their over 30-year marriage, they have never had a single argument. If you want to know what their secret is, lying in interviews.
Seth Meyers.
Yeah, Seth Meyers.
That's Seth.
In a new interview, a Virginia couple claimed that in their over 30-year marriage, they have never had a single argument. And if you want to know what their secret is, lying in interviews.
All right. Nicolas Cage, big-time movie star.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Sometimes you see his movies on TV.
Sometimes.
I feel like Con Air is on every other day.
It was on earlier this week, I think.
Thank you.
I remember seeing it in the guide. I did not watch it, but it was in the guide, yeah.
Con Air and...
Treasure... National Treasure. That one's on
National Treasure, and then not the one where he's playing the alcoholic in Vegas. But there's another one where, like, he gives his wife, the James Caan. There's a bunch of Vegas guys, like, parachuting into Vegas.
Yes. What the hell movie is that?
It's a real one.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
It's almost like a comedic version of Indecent Proposal.
Okay, all right.
Except I don't know if James Caan ever really betted her.
Oh, he better.
Probably did.
I love James Caan. He's in a lot of good movies. So Nicolas Cage, kind of crazy, plays a lot of weird characters. You think he might be insane. Seriously, right? Like, he's a very strange dude. I like.
Does he play weird characters, or does he play characters weirdly? You know what I mean? I think he makes the characters weird.
But he plays some strange ones, too. Like, Mike, what's the Superbook one he did? Ghost Rider?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But he has that tattoo on his body. Like, he already loved that.
No, he is a weird dude. I'm just saying, I think he plays character like Johnny Depp. You can cast whatever character, but if Nicolas Cage or Johnny Depp, there's a few, Jim Carrey, right? If they play that role, you're going to end up being weird.
Right. H.I. and Raising Arizona is pretty good.
That's what I say. And I also forget, like, you can kind of crack on Nick Cage, but to his credit, he's made a lot of good movies that people love. Gone in 60 Seconds. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll watch that movie almost any time.
Little cameo there in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
He did. Mm-hmm. I love that movie. You could tell. So basically, he's playing a weirdo in his new one, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Plays a fictionalized version of himself that's based on the many characters, on his characters than real life.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah. The point is this. I just wanted to talk about this story because what came out is that basically he spends a lot of time at home by himself with his cat.
Yeah. That does not surprise me.
It doesn't. It just seems like a yin and a yang, complete opposite, right? Like, I hang out with Vince Neil, we get drunken fights, even though we're buddies, and then when I want quiet time, I sit at home with my cat. And he could be an evil dictator.
He could be. Mm-hmm. Is the cat hairless?
I don't know. I don't have a picture of the cat.
I think this is a lot more about his real life than you would guess. I don't know if they're going to give away
the movie vision.
Well, what is real and what is not. So, in other words, It's kind of like a lot of things with Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David when he's playing himself.
Sure.
A lot of these things have actually happened to Larry David. A lot of them are things that he has written in and embellished on, but they're based on fact.
Correct.
So when they asked Nick, like, how real this is with his life, he's like, well, there's a lot of it that's real that's happened to me in my professional life, but I don't know that we're going to show the boring parts of me sitting at home with my cat, which is basically what I do. Meaning they're not showing everything about his life, but the stuff that's been out of hand and situations that he's been in have all been kind of incorporated in this movie where, you know, like the director will call up and say, like, are you still crazy, man? Like, can you still act? You know what I mean? Like, are you worth it? You know? And he's like, dude, I'm fine. Like, why do you think I've lost my mind?
Of course I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm still like
I'm at home with my cat.
high-level actor, and they're like, we're gonna pass on Nick Cage. So there's like all these things where
why do you think I'm crazy?
I mean,
sitting in my house alone with a cat on my lap.
I mean, I would love to do it, but I think most actors are kind of crazy.
They gotta be.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Get to that limit to pursue it to that end. There's something wrong with it.
Yeah. Well, that's the other tough part about, like, trying to date an actor or an actress. I mean, that's their job, is to be somebody else and not show emotion. So, like, you know what I mean? That's why I think a lot of actors love playing poker. So they're pretty good at it. I mean, acting is a nice way of saying lying.
Right, but I also think that that's why it's so impressive when an actor, as far as you know, is trying to play themselves. Because that would be the hardest thing to do. Like, just be yourself. I'm like, I'm not sure what that is.
Because you can't
like, I can't define it.
Because being yourself means be what you believe people perceive you to be. Right?
Right.
I mean, that's it. Like, who Nicolas Cage is and how we perceive him, I'm assuming are two different things. So if you say play yourself, that's one thing. But it's like, no. Play yourself the way you think that you are, right? That's the weird thing. And
right,
Nick,
play yourself the way everybody else sees
because
it.
as a celebrity, you are what people believe you are.
Right. Like Ted, people know you as the funny guy.
Yeah.
They don't know that you cry at home all the time, you know what I mean, for hours on end, and don't leave the house for days, you know what I mean? They don't know the dark side.
Right. So if they say, Ted, play you, it's like, no, we don't want that blubbery part, eating ice cream and dancing alone in the mirror.
Can't believe this F1 driver lost. But I think that'll be worth it. I'll definitely check that out.
For sure. That's what I'm saying. Like, Nick Cage, again, and it's like, it's one of those things, like, I get it. Like, we crack on it too, but also, like, it is a super interesting life. I mean, hell, it's not good, but it's kind of amazing all the money he's made and how much of it he's blown.
Right.
They're buying castles and, like,
dinosaur bones.
And, like, skull rings that were, like, from some ancient era.
Okay, but okay. If Nick Cage was in a movie where he got drunk, met this woman at a club, met this woman at a casino, whatever, they party all night, they're doing cocaine, they get drunk, they decide that they're going to go get married on a whim, they wake up and Nick's like got his hands in his head going, did we get married last night? Oh man, we got to get that annulled. That happened. Right. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, look, I think he was playing somewhat close to a version in Leaving Las Vegas, and he won an Oscar, or got nominated for an Oscar.
He won.
He did win.
I don't think we knew that until after the fact, but you go, oh, okay. Did you even give him a script?
Right. And I've had this conversation with Steve before in the office as far as where you choose to live based on your ability, where you know what you like. You know,
you have weakness.
If you have money, you can live wherever you want. So it says a lot for someone who lives in the Pacific Northwest, who's grown up here, who loves it here. I think there's a number of people who, obviously musicians and people that still live in Seattle. But depending on what your interests are and everything else, I think it takes a very special person to want to live in Las Vegas, who doesn't work there, is not in the medical industry, doesn't work outside of but wants to be
in Vegas.
In Vegas, because most people who live in Vegas avoid that area for the most part, unless they want to go see a show or whatever. They don't go to the Strip.
They don't go to the Strip. Right. He hangs out.
He goes to the Strip. Like, that's where he wants to be. And you go through the Vince Neils of the world. The who's the mime guy? You know what I mean? Like,
Chris Angel?
But he works there. There's a difference.
Freak.
Nick Cage doesn't work in Vegas.
Yeah, but that's where everything
Vince
he likes
Neil doesn't work in Vegas. Like, all these guys, they just want to be. They're Vegas, and it's just, to me, it's. I don't know. That would not be my pick, but I think it says a lot about someone who says that's what I want every single day.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm with you. Like, Vegas is awesome. Do not get me wrong, but Vegas does not have. Like, that pull to me that, like I'm excited this year to go to College Station and go tailgate a Texas A&M game.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, that sounds awesome. You know what I mean? Or, like, people always ask me, like, what would you do if you had a bachelor party? I'm like, not Vegas. Like, I'd rather rent a cabin and get,
right, hang out with your boys.
Sure,
yeah.
Do stupid stuff.
Yeah, that's always been my. So I'm with you. Like, to choose anywhere to live, I'm like, all right, to Vegas. That seems like a lot. Now, I've had friends that live there, but you're exactly right. They went for work.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the people that choose to live there are generally the people you would expect to.
I was talking to a friend the other day. We were talking about a mutual. I don't know this person, but they were like, yeah, they literally just went, he lives in Vegas, dude. And I was like, enough said. I also think the same about Miami.
Yeah, same difference.
You know what I mean? Like, you make an effort to go down. Like, you didn't grow up there. You're just like, I want to live in Miami. Like,
I think the difference is this. In Vegas, you say, look, I like my drugs, I like my booze, but I also like to gamble. South Beach is that without the gambling. I just want the drugs and booze.
There's also a tennis scene. There's also a golf scene. There's also, professional athletes who live there because of the teams there, things like that. And Vegas has that now. Don't get me wrong. I'm just thinking about, look, I understand why Carrot Top lives in Vegas. He's been very successful.
Yeah, of course.
But he also has a run of shows every year. He works 7 months out of the year. So you understand. It's like Yakov Smirnoff. He's never leaving Branson, Missouri.
Yeah, that's where his gig.
Like, he's got the gig there. He owns that town for the most part, and he's a major attraction there. There's no reason for him to go do stand up on the road or leave and go do 30 cities.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just like, I can just stay right here. So I get those people, Penn and Teller. But if you don't need to be there, you know what I mean? Like, but this is where you want to be, in the middle of it.
It's crazy. Let's see. Nickelodeon's Kid Choice Awards coming up soon. They're going to have, quote, 1,000 epic slimings.
Nice. 1,000?
Are they virtual or are they real?
Oh, no, they're sliming them.
Okay, they are sliming them.
Yeah. Miranda Cosgrove and Rob Gronkowski, Gronk, they'll be hosting it together.
He's kind of the perfect host.
He is.
Right. I just think it's amazing. Like, that's always their thing. And it's cool, man. Like, look, I'm an adult. I think it's funny to watch celebrities get slimed. But for kids, it's awesome. They're getting slimed.
I think you do a really good job if you can appeal to kids that are younger than you, because like if you're a parent, you understand your role.
Sure,
kids will get up to you in a different way, but you're also like, you're not cool. You might be somewhat cool, but you're still kind of in charge and everything. So if you're an adult and you're widely accepted and liked by a bunch of kids, that takes a lot. You know what I mean? Like The Rock or somebody who kids look up to.
He's hosted that before. Yeah. Did you guys watch SNL yet from last week?
I have not.
All right, they had a pretty good skit about the sliming and how it started and this and that. As you realize, like, oh yeah, they had to slime these kids. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, that's awesome. And I'm just like, even I'm excited. Good for you, Nickelodeon. I mean, we talked about it in January, right? I watched the Nickelodeon playoff game.
NFL thing, yeah.
And then they're sliming coaches afterwards. They have the slime cannons when something goes off. And it's like, man, I texted my cousin Tom, and he's like, oh, my 13-year-old thinks this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like,
and Nate Burleson's perfect for that.
Nate Burleson's good. Those little kid reporters are pretty good. And it's also a great way to, it's a great way to watch a game with a kid where they're not going to get bored.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And hopefully get them into the sport.
For sure.
So you can watch it with them later.
Yeah. Because, look, let's be honest. Sometimes, I remember as a kid, too, watching a 3.5-hour game seems like a long time.
Come on.
Right. Whereas an adult, I feel like I turn it on and it's over already.
I know. Cheers.
Let's see. A lot of stuff on this weekend. Your Sounders FC have a 12:30 kickoff tomorrow if you want to check that out. Let's see. Saturday Night Live is going to have Zoe Kravitz is hosting.
All right.
What else? Sunday. Here's the big one. You're going to have championship games going on tonight, Saturday, and Sunday for the big conference tournaments. When I say Pac-12 might be tonight, Big East is always Saturday night. Then Sunday, you're going to have ACC, Big Ten, all that stuff. And then Sunday afternoon, around 3 o'clock on CBS, you'll have the selection show.
And then what do we have, 2 days, 3 days in between?
Yeah, they have those play-in games now, but the tournament actually start next Thursday.
Okay.
The main thing is, if you live in this area, sorry Huskies, sorry Cougs, the main team to watch, Seattle University. Great year, hell of a program. It'd be interesting to see where they get seated in there, but
and hopefully Gonzaga will give it a run as well.
Well,
come on, pretty good. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to the Men's Room.
Well, great balls of fire, Bubba. What happened, Bilford? That crazy son of a Sal blew right through that four-way stop on Main Street and plowed into my cowboy Cadillac.
Your what?
My pickup truck. And I'm pretty sure my leg is broken, Ted.
Oh, quit your bitching, Buford, and talk with those side busters at the Advocates Law Firm. When I got busted up last month, well, shoot, they made sure those snakes at the insurance company played fair.
Boy, howdy. Even that creepy so-and-so Kyle earned his keep.
So if you get injured, the advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, away we go. 2 Texas women are charged with food stamp fraud, as in $1.2 million worth. Damn. Meanwhile, an 18-year-old finds 80,000 pennies in her yard from the man responsible for her birth. Woman gets invited to dinner at a friend's house, being charged $20 for the meal. Apparently buying a $60,000 Pokemon card is something that is actually real. And a woman in Hungary claims to be in love with a toy airplane. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cock.
Oh, wow. Hang on. There it is. All right. Tell you what, today's just been A+.
It's Leroy Jenkins. That's been my nightmare today.
Good God. Our top story we take to the internet where a podcaster is asking if this is normal. The woman posted to her Twitter about a dinner that she had been invited to and enjoyed, but when she got home, her phone sent her a notification saying the person that had invited her sent her a Venmo request for $20. She took to Twitter saying, quote, got invited to someone's house for dinner and they charged me for it. This is weird, right? Safe to say, nobody was on the side of the host.
Yeah, that thing kind of ends when you're in your 20s doing the kegger.
Right.
Just bring $5, man. But if you're going to invite me over for dinner, I don't assume I'm paying. I will certainly bring something.
Exactly.
If you'd like me to pay in advance, you need to put that in the initial invite. Hey, This is what I'm thinking. And if we all contribute X amount of dollars, we can do this for dinner.
Right.
Cool.
Exactly. Hey, man, I'm muscling up. I've got a good spread going. If you could chip in $20, that would help.
And most people are cool if they know it's like a massive spread with massive. But yeah,
you don't hit them up for it after the fact.
Typically, you bring over the beer, you bring over the bottle of wine.
What can I bring?
You know, that's the reason.
After the fact, it's just weird.
Right. That's the reason why when I was on my way over to Sean's, it's like, hey, I know that I'm about to go and eat a lot of his great food. Like, what can I bring? I don't want to be that guy. Yeah. Also, don't tag me afterwards like, hey, if you could actually help out with that.
Oh, Mike hasn't checked his Venmo, has he?
True enough. Yeah. No, my Venmo has Ted paying me for all the bets that he loses. In other news, we go to...
I'm losing $7 to $9 every time I see you guys.
You are, man.
It's brutal.
He's getting cleaned out.
I know.
Oh, man. In other news, we go to Texas for the good old-fashioned food stamp fraud. 2 women were busted by authorities after they had made fraudulent exchanges with more than 80 SNAP recipients and used the stamps to stock up on more than $1 million worth of groceries, including nearly 50 tons of American cheese slices.
Who do they hate so much they're going to give them that?
That's going to be the biggest grilled cheese.
It must be a hot commodity.
I know who will eat them.
22 tons of pinto beans. A literal ton of Folgers coffee. Now, there you go. A ton of instant mashed potatoes. All right. And more than 5,000 gallons of mayonnaise.
Damn.
That's a spread right there, man.
That's a lot.
That's all for one dinner.
Right. Speaking of fraud, we go to Georgia. A man has been arrested and charged after using funds not for their intended purpose. Story goes that the man claimed to operate an entertainment business with employees that had fallen on hard times due to the pandemic and received $85,000 in a relief loan. He then used nearly $60,000 of that loan to buy himself a very rare Pokemon card, a first edition shiny Charizard, which I don't know why Charizard's always the one that's the most expensive, but it is. He now has to pay back all the loan money that he took out, as well as a $10,000 fine.
I would imagine he could probably sell the card back, get the money, right?
Would that investment have paid off?
The investment
would the card have gone higher value? Would it have been $100,000 card in
maybe
5 years?
I mean, you gotta hang on to it for a while, but not nearly as long as he had. That is it for headlines. With that, Mike Hawkins out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Men's Room Happy Hour is up next exclusively on the Odyssey app for the first time in his life. Steve, you're willing to try whiskey?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot, man. See what it's like.
Wow, big day.
I know. In the meantime, we getting the hell out of here for at least the next 180 seconds. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.